Hello guys, this is Vinita Kumar and you're watching me on India.com and Bollywood Live. In conversation today is Shruti Haasan with her new series Bestseller. Welcome on India.com and Bollywood Live, Shruti.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Shruti, I watched the trailer, all of us watched it, and your character, you're playing a writer in the movie. It looks pretty intense, I wanted to know how was the mood like? Did you have any sort of fun while shooting for it, or were you all like in that space, no nonsense zone?
No, well, it was an intense series, definitely, but we had a lot of fun shooting it. There's characters we play, and
Yeah.
then it's how we collaborate after. It was a very serious experience, though, because the role is like that. She's an aspiring writer, and it's in the genre of a thriller. So it's not all fun and games as the character, but otherwise, we did have a great time.
Yeah. So, Shruti, let me ask this. Does it then become a little more emotionally exhausting for you as an actor when you play such intense character, especially in a project which is, there's no way out of it. The project in itself is quite intense, let alone your
I wouldn't
character.
use the word emotionally exhausting or emotionally draining. I would rather
Yeah.
say that it's quite challenging. But there's a fulfillment from playing these kind of roles when you go home at the end of the day, where you feel really, really fulfilled and nurtured and full of that emotion. So I really like that. Actually, I don't find it draining.
Yeah, okay. So, but Shruti, when you go back, so is there like a proper mechanism of say switch on and switch out of it? How do you do that?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually very good at it. And I think it's from seeing my parents and it's from having worked for 12 years. You learn. I do have a rule. I like to leave my work at the door. And then even if I discuss work with my friends or family or partner, it's I mean it's human, right? Like you may have a good day at work, you may have a bad day at work. But I don't dwell on it too much. I try to switch back into being Shruti and being in Shruti's life instead of Meetu's life.
Yeah. So, Shruti, you mentioned your parents, and from where they come from. In fact, when you also started, the OTT space was quite new, and I'm sure they must also be warming up to it right now. So, do you have these sort of discussions where you're discussing things like, yeah, this is a complete different space, and maybe, this is going to give me even more, plethora of opportunities
Well,
by
I
saying so.
discuss it a lot with my dad because he's a binge watcher
Hmm.
himself. He's up to date on
Oh
all the
yeah.
latest shows on every platform. Like he loves it as a tool. He loves it. He's like, look, we can just choose so much, and he understands the power of it. Now, this doesn't mean
Yeah.
like Kamal Haasan needs to be a part of OTT, but he understands it. So when I told him I'm doing an OTT series, he was like, oh, that's also he's on television. So he
Yeah.
understands that reach that the television, OTT, and stuff have compared to a movie, maybe. So, and also how many of our movies get a second lease of life because of these platforms.
Absolutely.
So I get messages about my older movies that people are rewatching because they just came across it in that section of movies. So it's a
Yeah.
very exciting time artistically. We do discuss like how it's a great disruptor in the best way possible.
Yeah. So what has this space brought for you as an actor, Shruti? If you just talk about yourself.
Well, I think that the beauty of this is like when I'm playing a character like Meetu is she gets the length and breadth and a lot of space to build as a character. That happens in the writing room, where they're able to really give her a lot to say, a lot to feel, a lot to do in the story. And not just me, all of the characters, because we have that kind of space, which we don't have the luxury of space and time in a movie
Hmm.
that's 2 hours or 2.5 hours or 1.5 hours, whatever the format. But here we have episodics which stretch across hours, really, which allows us a
Yeah.
lot of exploration, which is wonderful. It's really been rewarding for me to know that we're not in a rush to tell the story of this girl.
Yeah. Has it also been liberating to you or to the actors? Those who are coming from the larger cinema space?
Um, it's different. I mean, I
Hmm.
felt liberated by certain roles I've played. Like last year, Crack came out, and it was really
Yeah.
liberating to play a housewife who can be a badass and like protect her own child and protect her home and that was super liberating. It was super amazing when the film did well, and I was getting messages from mothers and housewives saying this was so awesome,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I mean, it totally depends on the situation.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So Shruti, I'm just drifting away a little bit from here. I was going through your social media and I realized that I think it's been not a really long time where you have just just put yourself out on social media a lot more than you were doing it earlier. So I wanted to understand, are you in this kind of comfortable and easy space where you are okay with accepting what people are saying or being judgmental, like you are in a safe space that way?
I've always been that way, but because of the business, I think sometime around 5-6 years ago, I started to, like, more than, like, I'd say 6 years ago, I started to really feel the pressure of other people's opinions. कि ऐसे कपड़े
Yeah.
पहनने चाहिए, इंटरव्यू ऐसा देना चाहिए, हीरोइन ऐसे नहीं बात करती, वो ऐसा नहीं कर. It was still there. Like, people can
Hmm.
say whatever, but it was still very much a part of somewhere in the background. Like, this
Hmm.
is not how you
Yeah.
behave. This is, and I was just like finding it so cumbersome, and I think it was affecting my choices as well. And you know what, it's very tiring to, like, not share yourself, like, who you
Yeah.
really are. It's
Yeah.
more exhausting than pretending. Being quiet can be extremely exhausting. And I think I took a break. I made some changes in my life. Personally, I made some changes about how I wanted to approach my profession. And a lot of people thought I was crazy for stepping away when I did and taking a sabbatical, like a break, because I
Yeah.
needed that. I'm a human being, and I wanted to honor that and not burn myself out, because I felt I was getting very close to burnout. So it's the best thing I ever did for me. And the byproduct of that is I connected with myself so much and who I like being. And then I said, I'd rather be rejected for who I really am than be accepted for something I'm not. And that's the kind of approach I had. And fortunately, touch wood, Vinita, like, people are like, oh, we like you. And I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, cool. So I'll just be myself then. Because our job in a series or in a movie is to pretend to be someone else. God knows you don't want to be doing that in your daily life.
But Shruti, does it matter to you if people tell you they like you or they don't like you? Like, how does that matter to
Oh
you?
no, it matters to me when people tell me they love me or like me, because I find a connection and I feel a responsibility to continue being myself and to add positivity to someone's life. Now, if somebody doesn't like me, I like to understand why, and if it's a bogus reason, then they just stop existing for me, really.
Okay. Okay, so can we say this then, the Shruti who's out there on social media is a completely like unfiltered Shruti?
I think it's just basically who I am. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So Shruti, coming back to bestseller, there's a lot of chatter around how this is like completely a wholesome star cast. There's so many people in the series. Are you confident about your space in that space where there's so many talents around you?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're in an environment with talents, it's actually really exhilarating and it's
Yeah,
fun to play with each other. And I know what Mithu's role is. I know she's the female protagonist. If I had any worries, I shouldn't have done the series. Do you know what I mean? There's no point going in
yeah,
between people and then saying, "Arey, lekin." I mean, of course, there have been situations I've signed films, I was told something and then something else happened. That, though, is horrible for any actor. But
yeah.
this was just a really exhilarating experience because, like I said, as a character, she's lovely. As a story, it's fantastic, and this story exists because of all of these characters. So it was really, really fulfilling.
So nice to hear that, Shruti. All the best for bestseller and
Thank,
congratulations again.
thank you.
Thank you.